there is a huge changes for those work permit holders. I think this might be a great chances for someone who's been improving their education here while they're working. Okay, everyone has been asking for a few times for a fact that some schools are actually giving international students domestic price on their tuition fee. Hi everyone, this is Lisa from Noproblam Consulting Agency. Today is another good news, and I feel like I was a little bit late making this video, but just in case there is someone who doesn't know, there is a huge changes for those work permit holders that they are now allowed to study any types of program that could be longer than 6 months without applying for their study permit. So here are the eligibility. So every single time when the new temporary public policy took into place, you always need to look closer towards to the eligibility. So in this eligibility, you may be eligible to study without a study permit, which is great. So basically, whenever you're changing your status from one to another, normally the first permit would get overruled by the second permit, but this time that is not the case. So if you are holding any sort of work permit, I think that includes PGWP, open work permit, closed work permit, you can still study full-time. But the thing that you need to consider is it even possible for you to study full-time and then work full-time at the same time? So I honestly think that this is just a little bit of an unrealistic path for some people, but you know, like if you are thinking about doing a part-time study from time to time, and you don't have to go through that tedious process of getting your study permit once again. So I think this might be a great chances for someone who's been improving their education here while they're working. Okay, so let's just get to the eligibility part. So a valid work permit that was issued on and before June 7. So the work permit must have been issued before June 7, or a letter of authorizing to work while we process your work permit extension application. So that's basically what it was. If you had applied for the extension of a work permit before June 7th, you must have this letter saying that, hey, you can still work while you're waiting for your extension. So in these two candidates can work and study at the same time without study permit. And if you apply for work permit after June 7, which is over, you're not eligible for this measure. So anyone who applied for the work permit after June 7th, they are not eligible for this special exempt. So don't even bother. So in that case, these people still have to apply for the study permit. All right. So and there are like other exceptional, like other special measures for these type of people. So if you're working in Quebec, like, so basically if you're in Quebec, it really doesn't matter. They can still study after June 27, 2023. If your study program has a co-op work placement, what it is if you pick a program that's got co-op in it, on top of whatever the work permit you have, you still apply for another permit. And if you're a study permit holder, and then if you got study permit and then the co-op permit both, you can still study another program. So that's what they are saying. So basically, if you had a co-op work permit, you can still study full-time anywhere without applying for another study permit, okay? So how long you can study is just basically whenever the public policy expires. So you can study full-time till 27 of June without having to prove that you got study permit, which is amazing. So basically, when you're applying for school, and if school is asking for your study permit validation, all you need to do is you can show this valid work permit and then show this new policy, and then they will decide whether or not this is okay, but most of the time it is okay. And on top of this big news, something that I need to mention to you, because everyone has been asking for a few times, is for a fact that some schools are actually giving international students domestic price on their tuition fee. So let me just read this out real close. So for individual or independent of individual with a full-time long-term work permit, at least 1 or longer, we recommend that they be assessed domestic tuition fee because they or their parents would file tax returns in Canada. So basically, University of Toronto is offering that they are going to match. They're going to reduce the tuition fee for the international worker who holds closed work permit or even any kind of contract that they can show that they are they're under like full employment. Then they are eligible for the discount for the reduced tuition fee as a domestic student. And you probably wonder if that's the case with all the other colleges that I'm trying to apply, might accommodate this. I don't think so. To be fair, I've only seen those policies, like those domestic tuition fee reduction policy. Took place in university level of colleges. So basically University of Toronto, University of UBC, BCIT, those are the top three schools that are actually honoring those domestic tuition fee for the closed work permit holder. But rest of the schools, as far as I'm concerned, they don't normally give out this kind of granted this tuition fee scholarship for the long-term closed work permit holder. Fastest and then the surest way of you finding out if your schools are actually offering this type of scholarship is not through us. Actually, you have to go through the school, because when they are giving out domestic tuition fee, there are a lot of different factors that they take into consideration. So they probably need to see your full-time employment. They probably need to see whether or not you're cut for the domestic programs and eligibility, and then the requirements for the program for domestic students is a whole different level. But just to lower your expectation a little bit lower here, just don't suggest or don't imagine that you will probably get those domestic tuition fee discounts in every single institution. That's not the case, but I'm just giving you the list of the university that actually does give out the tuition fee discounts for the long-term work permit holder. And like I was saying, this is what you can find on Toronto University. And this is what University of British Columbia normally offer to those people who meet that exception. And this is the actual form, tuition fee exemption. There are international fee exemption for BCIT. So if you don't see this international fee exemption, don't waste your time on searching too much, because basically other 2-year colleges or vocational colleges, they don't normally give out this kind of these types of not really a services, but these types of exemption. So you would probably come out and ask us if your colleges can give you this international fee exemption. That wouldn't be me that is going to make a decision on that. You always have to go through the assessment team whether or not they even have this type of exemption. So hopefully this type of information can be used really nicely for someone who's been thinking about going to UBC while they're working, or University of Toronto. But even if you weren't interested in that, it kind of shows a great opportunity that what Canada is going to do for the international worker, international student. So keep that in mind and keep your eyes peeled for the newest update version, like newest update news for immigrating to Canada. And hopefully if you have any other questions or inquiries about immigrating to Canada, working, studying in Canada, don't forget to subscribe our channel, and please feel free to leave your concerns, inquiries on the website. So I'll probably look forward to